Throughout history, stories of angelic visitors have captivated the imagination of humankind. From the glowing beings described in ancient scriptures to the mysterious encounters of modern times, the idea that celestial entities have descended from the heavens to guide, warn, or interact with humans is one of the most enduring themes in human spirituality. Yet, beneath the religious reverence and mystical awe lies a provocative question: could these so-called angels have been extraterrestrial visitors misinterpreted through the lens of ancient belief? The Truth Behind Angelic Visitors explores this timeless mystery, merging ancient testimony with modern theories to reveal what might really be behind the glowing wings and divine messages of the past. The earliest written accounts of angelic beings date back to some of humanity's first civilizations. In ancient Sumer, over 5,000 years ago, the people worshipped the Anunnaki, divine beings said to have descended from the heavens. They were depicted as radiant figures who imparted knowledge, law, and even genetic life to early humans. Many ancient astronaut theorists propose that the Sumerian descriptions of these entities are the first recorded evidence of extraterrestrial contact. These so-called gods, often shown wearing strange helmets and wielding advanced tools, could have been misinterpreted by early humans as divine messengers due to their incomprehensible technology and otherworldly presence. Centuries later, similar beings appeared in other cultures: the Egyptian Neteru, the Greek messengers of Olympus, and the glowing sons of God, mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. Across continents and millennia, a shared pattern emerges: radiant beings, descending from the sky, communicating with humanity, and often influencing the course of civilizations. The biblical Book of Enoch offers one of the most detailed accounts of such visitors, describing the Watchers, heavenly beings who came down to earth to instruct mankind in arts and sciences, but who later fell from grace for their forbidden interactions with humans. According to Enoch, these Watchers mated with human women, producing a hybrid race known as the Nephilim, giants of great power and knowledge. For those who interpret scripture through the ancient astronaut theory, the Watchers were not fallen angels but extraterrestrial beings conducting genetic experiments with early humans, leaving behind myths that would evolve into religious doctrine. In Christianity, angels have long been portrayed as God's messengers, ethereal beings of light who deliver divine commands and protect the faithful. Yet even within scripture, their descriptions raise questions. In the book of Ezekiel, the prophet recounts a vision of 4 living creatures, emerging from a fiery cloud, each with multiple faces and wings, and accompanied by a spinning wheel, full of eyes, that moved in all directions without turning. To modern readers, this imagery might suggest a technological encounter, perhaps a craft or machine described in the only language Ezekiel knew. Ancient astronaut theorists argue that Ezekiel's wheel within a wheel could represent an ancient description of a flying saucer or energy-based craft, witnessed by a man trying to interpret advanced technology through mystical vision. Even in later biblical texts, angels appear not as abstract spiritual forces but as physical beings who eat, drink, and even wrestle with humans. When Abraham encounters 3 men, who reveal they are messengers of God, he prepares food for them, implying they had corporeal form. When Jacob wrestles with a mysterious figure, until daybreak, the encounter is so tangible that Jacob limps afterward. Such details challenge the notion of angels as purely spiritual and suggest they might have been biological entities, or beings capable of materializing in human form. Ancient alien theorists suggest that these encounters were early contact experiences. To ancient people, the arrival of luminous beings from the sky could only be understood as divine. But in a modern context, their descriptions align strikingly with UFO and extraterrestrial reports. The bright light, the sudden descent from above, the imparting of secret knowledge, these are hallmarks of both angelic visitations and alien encounters. Perhaps what our ancestors saw as heavenly messengers were visitors from another world, whose presence was interpreted according to the limited understanding of the time. Interestingly, angelic appearances are not confined to religious scripture. In medieval Europe, countless accounts describe radiant beings descending during battles or disasters, offering hope or issuing warnings. In 1917, during World War I, soldiers in France reported seeing a formation of glowing figures, interpreted by some as the Angels of Mons, who appeared to shield British troops from German fire. To believers, this was divine intervention; to skeptics, a mass hallucination. Yet to modern UFO researchers, such sightings may represent contact phenomena recurring across centuries, adapting to cultural belief systems. In the modern era, angelic visitations and UFO encounters often share uncanny similarities. Many abductees report beings of light with humanoid forms who communicate telepathically and claim to be guardians or watchers of humanity. They deliver messages about peace, environmental care, and human evolution, themes strikingly similar to those of angelic apparitions throughout history. The only difference is that modern witnesses describe them using the language of science and space, rather than religion. Where ancient prophets saw angels, contemporary experiencers see extraterrestrials. One of the most intriguing crossovers between angelic and alien phenomena is the concept of light beings. Across many faiths and mystical traditions, angels are described as radiant forms of pure light. Theologians often interpret this as metaphorical, a reflection of divine purity, but eyewitness reports throughout history suggest that such beings were literally luminous. Modern UFO encounters often involve orbs, or humanoid figures composed of light, capable of appearing and disappearing at will. Could these beings exist in a form of higher energy, only partially visible to the human eye? Physicists have speculated that if extraterrestrial life evolved in different energy states or dimensions, they might appear to us as glowing or immaterial, a scientific explanation for what ancient humans called heavenly hosts. Ancient texts also describe strange technologies associated with angelic visitors. In the Old Testament, the Ark of the Covenant was said to house the divine presence of God and was guarded by cherubim, winged beings associated with both protection and power. The Ark could emit fire, light, and even kill those who touched it unprepared. To modern theorists, this sounds less like magic and more like advanced technology, perhaps a communication or energy device operated by those who gifted it to the Israelites. Could the Ark have been an ancient artifact left behind by extraterrestrial beings, revered as holy because of its mysterious power? Similar stories appear in other traditions. In Hindu texts, the Vimana, flying chariots of the gods, are described as radiant machines capable of traveling through the skies with thunderous sound. These were piloted by beings who descended from the heavens, carrying messages of cosmic order. In some accounts, they even engage in aerial battles using weapons that sound disturbingly similar to modern descriptions of lasers or energy beams. Were these gods actually ancient astronauts, whose technology was immortalized in myth? Even the physical appearance of angels, when closely examined, offers clues. While modern art depicts them as winged humans, early descriptions are often far more complex and otherworldly. The seraphim, for example, are said to have 6 wings and emit fiery light. The cherubim possess multiple faces, human, animal, and bird, suggesting not literal creatures but symbolic attempts to describe beings beyond comprehension. Ancient astronaut theorists propose that wings were simply metaphors for flight, a primitive effort to describe beings who could soar through the sky using technology unknown to ancient observers. The question then arises, if these beings were extraterrestrial, why did they present themselves as divine? Perhaps early humans, unable to grasp interstellar travel or advanced science, perceived them as gods, and the visitors used this perception to communicate effectively. Some theorists suggest a more complex motive, that humanity has been guided, monitored, and influenced by these entities throughout history as part of a long-term evolutionary plan. Ancient texts from nearly every culture tell of celestial beings teaching agriculture, architecture, and law, as those shaping civilization itself. Modern believers in angelic contact report similar experiences. People across the world describe moments when they were visited by glowing beings who saved them from accidents, comforted them in grief, or delivered life-changing messages. While science might attribute these encounters to psychological phenomena or coincidences, the emotional power and consistency of the stories suggest something deeper. Whether divine or extraterrestrial, the presence of these entities continues to influence the human spirit, guiding, warning, and inspiring across ages. In recent decades, even government investigations have touched upon the connection between spiritual and extraterrestrial phenomena. Declassified documents from UFO studies have revealed patterns in witness testimony describing non-human intelligences that interact through light and thought. Some researchers propose that what we call angels may inhabit a higher dimension, capable of crossing into our world when necessary. If this is true, the line between spiritual beings and extraterrestrials blurs entirely. Both could represent advanced life forms beyond human comprehension, manifesting through different frequencies of reality. Skeptics argue that angelic visitations are the product of faith, hallucination, or the human brain's need to find meaning in the unknown. Yet the persistence of these experiences across all cultures, eras, and religions defies simple explanation. From ancient Babylon to modern America, the pattern repeats: radiant beings descend from the sky, deliver messages of transformation, and then vanish. Whether interpreted as divine or cosmic, their influence on human civilization is undeniable. If the ancient astronaut theory holds even a grain of truth, then humanity's greatest religious revelations may have been encounters with advanced visitors from beyond Earth. The stories of angels, rather than mere myths, could be encoded memories of these interactions, passed down, reshaped by faith, and woven into the fabric of human spirituality. The glowing wings and halos of religious art may be symbolic echoes of radiant energy fields or flight technology seen through primitive eyes. But even if these beings are extraterrestrial, it does not diminish their sacred role in human history. Perhaps both interpretations are true, that the divine and the cosmic are intertwined, and that our ancestors were guided by forces both spiritual and physical. The universe, vast and mysterious, may harbor life so advanced that its presence appears to us as pure light, wisdom, and compassion, the very essence of what we call angels. The truth behind angelic visitors may never be fully known. Whether they are celestial messengers of God, interdimensional travelers, or extraterrestrial overseers, their presence continues to shape our understanding of the unknown. They remind us that the boundary between heaven and the stars may be thinner than we imagine, and that the beings who once inspired awe in ancient temples and scripture may still be watching over us, not from a distant heaven, but from the infinite reaches of space. Their message, repeated throughout time, seems to transcend culture and faith. Humanity is not alone, and the light that guides us from above may be both spiritual and cosmic in origin. The question is not whether angels exist, but what they truly are, divine messengers of God, or travelers from another world whose light has illuminated humanity's path since the dawn of civilization.